Hello guys, Charles here and welcome back to my channel. So I'm just going to show you a little 2-5-1 movement today and break down and explain some of the theory that's going on, because there's a couple of chords in this which if you've got a basic grasp of jazz theory you might think are wrong or incorrect. So I want to explain how they work, justify those, and hopefully you can try some of these sounds in your own playing. So let's get straight to it. So this is a 2-5-1 in the key of B flat, and this is what it's going to sound like. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's a pretty simple movement there. Like I say, this is a 2-5-1 in B flat, so the basic chords there would be a C minor 7 to an F7 to B flat major or B flat 6. That movement there. So we start on your bog standard C minor 7 chord. This is using the A minor shape. So here's the first interesting chord. We've got this nice diagonal shape here. So you can interpret it as E flat major 7 with a sharp 5. There's major 7, sharp 5. Or you can interpret it as a first inversion of C minor 9 with a major 7. That sound there. Now, that has a wrong note in it. It's got a B natural, whereas in a C minor 7 chord, we should have a B flat. So we've got a wrong note there. Now, where does this wrong note come from? So to understand this, we need to go back to the bebop scale, or the 6 diminished scale. So this is a C minor 7 chord, but it's also an E flat 6 chord. Now, if that's our 6 chord, then we know that we can have a diminished between each of those. So in this instance, that would be D diminished. So I've just played the bebop chord scale there, or the 6 diminished chord scale. If you want to learn what I've just played there, I won't go through that again in today's video. Check out the video card up here, and I've broken it down in loads of different variations so you can get practicing that. But that still doesn't explain our E flat major 7 sharp 5 chord that we've got here. Now, to understand this, we need to understand a new topic which I haven't really talked about on this channel. This is another Barry Harris topic, and this is called borrowed diminished notes. So in this key of E flat, what we'd expect to have at this point would be an E flat 6 chord, which is enharmonic equivalent to a C minor 7. So E flat 6 or C minor 7, either one's fine in our 2-5-1. What we've done instead is this diminished chord, we've got C minor 7, D diminished. We can borrow any notes from that chord to add a bit of tension to our 6 chords. So if I take this C minor 7 or E flat 6, I can add some diminished notes to it. So it could look like this. And it resolves nicely. So this particular voicing I'm using here is this chord here, which is a bit of a stretch. That voicing of an E flat 6 with 2 borrowed notes from above. So those are diminished notes there. You hear that falls really nicely. Hard to play, but it sounds nice. I'm going to do that up an octave because it'll be easier to demonstrate. Tension there with those diminished notes, resolving. Really pretty sound. So we can use a major 7 on a 2 chord. Weird, it's normally a minor 7 chord, but you can get away cautiously with a major 7. That means you can also, by the way, play melodic minor on C. That blew my mind when I realised that a few years ago, that I could use my melodic minor scale on 2 chords. Crazy. So now that we understand that theory, this chord makes a bit more sense in context. We've got a minor 7 chord. We're inverting it basically, moving up to the next version with some tension. So here's the next chord. All I did is move that up once through its scale to here. So that chord moves up. Now we're on the F7 chord now, and on an F7 chord, on any dominant chord, you can really bend the rules. You can add a flat 9 or a sharp 9, a flat 5 or a sharp 5. Those are the only alterations available to us. I used to think there was a lot more, but there's only a flat 9 or a sharp 9, a flat 5, which we sometimes call a sharp 11, and a sharp 5, which we sometimes call a flat 13. Rarely, but occasionally people say flat 13, but it's a sharp 5. So there's only 4 alterations in the whole of jazz: flat 9, sharp 9, flat 5, sharp 5. And you can put those in on any dominant chord you like. Let your ear guide you though, especially if you're playing with an ensemble with lots of other players. You don't want to add too many clashes to every single chord, because they might be using the natural interpretation of that chord, and so it can get a bit jarring. But in this instance, I moved up from my E flat major 7 sharp 5 chord, and I decided, rather than moving to a plain F7, which is a bit boring and difficult actually, I wanted the sharp 5 in there. And what that basically means is that these bottom 3 notes are both just moving up a tone, whereas the top note moves up a semitone. And then move to this nice voicing, which is a 13. F, A, E flat, and D. And then resolve nicely from there, using a little bit of voice leading here. I've already got the note on the top, F, which is going to be in my next chord of B flat, so I'm going to keep here. This bottom E flat is going to resolve downwards, and then I just need to fill in the space. So generally, if you get the 2 outside notes, the top and the bottom, get the voice leading of those right, they're the most obvious, then the middle notes kind of fall into place. So I've got this, and that's just my favourite voicing of a major 7 chord. It's a first inversion with the clash in the middle. I just think that's so beautiful. Very Holdsworthian. And again, we could interpret that as a borrowed diminished note, that A, and let it fall. Which is very pretty. So one last time, we've got C minor 7, first inversion of a C minor 7, or an E flat major 7 sharp 5, with these 2 borrowed notes from the scale. They should be down there, but instead we're borrowing from the next diminished up. Up a tone with these bottom 3 notes, and up a semitone with the top note. And I'm adding a sharp 5 to this F7 chord because I can. I could have added a flat 5 if I wanted. That would sound like this. Quite like that one. I could have added a flat 9, which is quite a stretch in this instance. I could have added a sharp 9. So on a 7 chord, you can add sharp 5, flat 5, sharp 9, flat 9. And then resolving finally to my nice major 7 voicing, which I love because it's got the clash in the middle, which we can resolve down to the 6th. So some really pretty sounds there. Try those things out for yourself. So be aware that if you're using A minor 7 chord, you really want to think of it by its relative major if you're into the Barry Harris approach. So a minor 7 chord on the 2 is really a major 6 chord on the 4. That's kind of the way that approach works. And in reframing that, you then know that you can borrow diminished notes from the diminished chord which is above or below. Now, in theory, there's no limitations on that, but of course your ear is the limitation. If you don't like the sound of it, then don't borrow those notes. I've found that I've experimented this with a lot, and some of them just don't sound good at all, even though they're theoretically correct, and I'm following Barry's rules. But other times they sound really, really beautiful, and they give that real sort of magnetism and pull to the music, that sense of movement, which is what we're talking about here. And then finally, with your dominant chords, there's only 4 alterations you can make to a dominant chord: flat 9, sharp 9, flat 5, sharp 5. The flat 5, quite frequently called a sharp 11, and the sharp 5, less frequently, but possibly called the flat 13. I can't think of any examples of that. So I hope you found those thoughts useful. Let me know down below in the comments what else you'd like to see covered on this channel, and if you've got any great ways to move through a 2-5-1 that you'd like to share with us, that'd be really cool. Please do give this video a like, subscribe, ding that notification bell to be updated with my future uploads, and please do share this with any of your friends who may also find this useful. And as always, I hope you're all doing very well, getting plenty of practice in, and I very much look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers!
Roll up, let me embed a story you'll never forget. A drip, drip, but drowning in debt now. You can't buy your way out, and I heard you find it difficult to cope.